This is round 23, the third round of the playoffs in the 2019 NAQT High School National Championship Tournament. This is a winner's bracket game between the 9 card and the 16 card. From North Carolina, we have Early College at Guilford, and from New York, we have Hunter A. Both teams are ready to go. Best of luck to both teams. Here is toss-up 1. This author wrote that the dynamic principle of existence is survive and claimed that human aberration was caused by the reactive mind. The cover of a 1950 book by this man references his claim that billions were killed in volcanoes by the Yes.
Hubbard?
15.
Nice.
Commercially bought diamonds sparkle because their cut pattern allows this phenomenon to occur multiple times. For 10 points each, name this phenomenon, which occurs when light rays are incident at an interface above a critical angle.
Diffraction?
It's like what's it?
Answer?
Refraction.
Total internal reflection.
darn it,
The
sorry.
critical angle for total internal reflection is given by the inverse of this function applied to a ratio of refractive indices.
Tangent.
This function is defined as opposite over hypotenuse.
No.
Sine.
Opposite sine.
In these structures, repeated total internal reflection allows light to propagate over large distances. Optical fibers are circular examples of these structures.
Oh, what are these
Fiber
called?
optics?
No. They said that. It's like
Answer? Waveguides, 10 points, toss-up 2. This man ordered Operation Starvation, a massive mine-laying campaign. Operation Flintlock was part of a drive planned and led by this man through the Gilbert Islands toward the Marshall Islands. A class of nuclear aircraft carrier, yes,
Nimitz?
Yeah.
15.
It
bonus.
is nice.
For 10 points each, name these characters from Shakespeare's Julius Caesar. Cassius spends considerable time convincing this noblest of Romans to join the plot. He's the final man to stab Caesar.
Brutus.
I'm sorry?
Brutus.
Yes. This woman, Caesar's last wife, has a dream foretelling his death.
See
She shares her
something,
name with the
see
Finches'
something.
housekeeper and To Kill a Mockingbird.
Cecilia?
No. It's see something else.
Answer?
Calpurnia.
After Mark Antony rouses the mob, it kills this poet who is mistaken for a conspirator who has the same name.
Cinna?
30.
Nice.
Toss-up 3. The lemniscate of Bernoulli is made by inverting this curve about a circle with the same center. Rotating this curve about an axis can produce a quadric surface with 1 or 2 sheets. The equation y equals plus or minus b over a times x gives the asymptotes of...
Hyperbola.
I'm sorry?
Hyperbola.
10 bonus. After 10 points each, name these prime ministers who participated in the Paris Peace Conference. This Welsh politician who replaced H.H. Asquith as prime minister in 1916
Lloyd
represented...
George?
I'm sorry?
Lloyd George.
George Clemenceau was reputedly disgusted with the conference conduct of this Prime Minister of Italy.
Orlando.
This Prime Minister of Canada from 1911 to 1920 advanced his country's international standing by participating in the conference separately from Britain.
No. It's the dude after Laurier. Who's that?
I don't remember.
Answer?
Ramsey.
Robert Borden, 20
Yeah.
points,
Oh, yeah.
toss-up 4. The speaker of a poem by this man laments I miss Europe with its ancient parapets and describes seeing fish traps where a whole leviathan rots. This author completed a prose poem that includes 2 sections titled Delirium and one called Bad... Yes?
Rimbaud.
15, bonus. There are 3 complex numbers that, when raised to the 3rd power, yield 1. There are 4 complex numbers that, when raised to the 4th power, yield 1, and so on. For 10 points each, give this term for a number that, when raised to a particular integer power, results in 1. Answer?
Identity.
It's a root of unity. If you plot the 3rd roots of unity on the complex plane and connect the points, the result is this specific shape. Its area equals the square of its side length times the square root of 3 over 4. Answer?
Hexagon?
It's an equilateral triangle. If z is a root of unity, then the reciprocal of z also has this relationship to z. In general, changing the sign of z's imaginary part gives a number with this relationship to z.
Conjugate.
It's 10. Toss-up 5. At the Democratic convention before this election, a losing candidate proclaimed, "The dream shall never die," prior to... Yes.
1980?
I'm sorry?
1980?
15 bonus.
Yes.
For 10
Yes.
points each, name these performers of the national anthem. This former judge and coach on The Voice botched the lyrics of the Star-Spangled Banner before Super Bowl 45.
Christina Aguilera.
Go.
Aguilera.
The singer of
Nice.
What's Going On performed the national anthem before the 1983 NBA All-Star Game. His anthem performance was later
Gay.
used in Nike ads.
Gay?
Yes. The only version of the national anthem to make the Billboard Top 40 was the singer's 1991
Whitney
rendition. I'm sorry?
Whitney Houston?
30.
Nice.
Toss-up 6. This city's main airport includes architect Paul Williams' UFO-shaped theme building. The Level House and Strathmore Apartments are among the city's numerous buildings by architect Richard Neutra. The exterior panels of a building in the city had to be sanded after the... Yes.
Los Angeles?
15 bonus.
Nice.
For 10 points each, answer the following about baking in literature. Marion McAlpin bakes a cake shaped like a woman's body in The Edible Woman, the debut novel by this author of The Handmaid's Tale.
Atwood.
Yes, this Yiddish language author wrote about a baker who becomes the town cuckold in his 1953 story, Gimple the Fool. Yes, a baker is horrified to find that the son of a woman who has hired him to make a birthday cake has died in a car accident in this author's story, A Small Good Thing, which appears in his collection, Cathedral.
Fucker.
No, Raymond Carver. So that's 20 points, toss up 7. A Veen filter is used to select particles for which this quantity equals E over B. The no-slip condition is a boundary condition for this quantity, which has 0 divergence in an incompressible fluid. This quantity crossed with the magnetic field appears, yes,
Velocity.
10, bonus. A painting of this woman on her deathbed prompted its artist to lament how he obsessively analyzed the colors on her motionless face. For 10 points each, name this woman who was shown on the beach in Trouville in one painting, and in another holds a parasol while walking with her son, Jean.
Is this that woman, like the one that who?
Should I guess like Renoir's wife?
Answer?
Renoir's wife.
Camille Monet.
Oh.
Camille modeled for Claude Monet's painting of a woman in a dress of this color. In a 1434 painting, a woman in this color dress holds hands with a man in black.
Green, right? It's
Yeah.
Arnolfini wedding. Green.
Yes, Camille wears a light pink dress in a painting titled For This Season. Sandro Botticelli said an allegory of this season in an orange
Spring.
grove. Yeah, it's 20, toss up 8. People in this non-grief role go through 5 stages, beginning with noticing and interpreting in John Darley and Bib Latney's model. The Raymond Zach case is cited to show how these people feel a diffusion of responsibility. Research on these people began after, yes,
Bystanders?
15, bonus. For 10 points each, answer the following about the many threats faced by sea otters. The single greatest threat to sea otters in the 20th century was hunting for this industry, which desired the animals' extremely thick pelts.
Fur?
Yeah. A major threat to sea otters in Alaska is this type of man-made event. In 1989, one of them in Prince William Sound killed countless wildlife.
Oil spill.
Oil spill?
Many sea otters in California have been fatally infected by Toxoplasma gondii, a parasite that spreads through the feces of these animals.
What do they eat?
I like this.
Answer?
Walrus.
Cats. 20 points, toss up 9. This civilization built the oldest known dock at its port of Lorthal. This civilization also built the world's oldest public sanitation systems, exemplified by the
Indus
reservoir.
River Valley
Yes?
civilization?
I'm sorry?
Indus River Valley civilization?
That is 15.
Yeah,
Bonus?
yeah.
For 10
Good,
points each,
nice.
answer the following about the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, or NHTSA. The NHTSA is part of this cabinet department, currently headed by Elaine Chao.
Transportation.
In recent years, the NHTSA has recalled over 42 million vehicles over dangers involving these safety devices, which could send shrapnel into drivers when they inflated.
Yeah, airbags.
The NHTSA recall involved airbag inflators made by this Japanese company that went bankrupt in 2017.
Is it like Akashi?
No,
or
no,
like
it's something
Takashi
that's
or
not.
Takashi. Is it that?
Try that.
Answer?
Takashi.
Takata.
Oh,
So
oh.
20
Yeah.
points, toss up 10.
Almost.
Philippe Van Parijs argued that this policy is necessary in his book, Real Freedom for All. In 2018, Doug Ford canceled a pilot of this policy in 3 Ontario cities. Mark Zuck, yes,
So like universal basic income?
15 bonus.
Nice.
For 10 points each, name these leaders of early Haiti. This man became the first president of Haiti after leading a massive 1791 slave revolt.
Toussaint Louverture. Toussaint Louverture.
This lieutenant of Louverture declared Haiti's independence in 1804. He subsequently ordered the massacre of its white population.
It's all you. All you.
Dessalines?
This man assumed control of northern Haiti after Dessalines was assassinated. He built the Sans-Souci Palace before committing suicide in 1820.
Christophe?
30. Toss up 11. One mechanism for these reactions is driven by relief of ring strain in cyclic alkenes and is called ROMP. Stereochemical control in these reactions can produce syndiotactic or isotactic products. Free radicals are used in the addition form of the... Yes?
So like halogen.
I'm sorry?
Halogen addition.
Neg 5. Free radicals are used in the addition form of these reactions, which have many propagation steps. Nylon and PVC are produced via, for 10 points, what kind of reaction in which monomers are joined to form vacuum molecules? Yes?
Polymerization?
10. Bonus. This character gives Pedro a coin that this man shot through the center in midair. For 10 points each, name this character killed by General Arroyo after he burns land grant documents. He has an unrequited love for Harriet Winslow.
Winslow.
The old gringo.
Answer?
The old Ringo.
This Mexican author of The Death of Artemio Cruz described Ambrose Bierce's last days in The Old Gringo.
Fuentes.
After a battle, the Old Gringo refuses to execute a prisoner, instead killing one of these animals that is eating a corpse. The title of William Golding's Lord of the Flies refers to the head of one impaled on a stick.
Pig,
Yeah,
probably?
like a boar or pig.
Pig.
Yeah, that's 30. Toss up 12. A piano piece in 3/4 time by this composer features a quarter note melody over pianissimo G major. Yes?
Satie?
15.
Yeah.
Bonus.
Nice.
Yeah.
For 10 points each, answer the following about the song Strange Fruit. This African American singer of Gloomy Sunday first popularized the song,
Any ideas?
drawing on a poem by Abel Meeropol.
Michael Jackson.
Black singers.
Michael
Ella
Jackson.
Fitzgerald.
Jackson.
Answer?
Michael Jackson.
Oh, way earlier. Billie Holiday.
Oh.
Strange Fruit is about this racist practice in which mobs executed African Americans who were accused of wrongdoing, often by hanging.
Lynching.
The second stanza of Strange Fruit contrasts the pastoral scene of the gallant South and scent of magnolia, sweet and fresh, with 3 specific features of a lynched corpse. Name any one.
Let's go with hard.
Sure.
Hard.
bulging eyes, twisted mouth, or burning flesh. That is 10 points on the bonus, and that's the half. The score is 275 for Hunter, 135 for early college, and this is toss-up 13. During this event, Pavel Dybenko burned documents documenting its German financing. During this event, the newspaper Raboshi, yes?
Easter Rising?
Nick 5. The newspaper Raboshi Put was shut down. John Reed's 10 Days That Shook the World chronicled this event during which the Aurora fired a blank shot, marking the capture of the Winter Palace. Alexander Kerensky's government collapsed in for 10 points. What event that brought the Bolsheviks to power in fall? Yes.
The October Revolution.
10 bonus. An ethical theory based on these concepts is sometimes called archaic ethics. For 10 points each, name these things that are described as means between pairs of extremes in the Nicomachean ethics.
Medians.
What?
Averages.
I have
Answer?
no clue.
Attached.
Virtues. This ancient Greek philosopher wrote the Nicomachean Ethics and Metaphysics.
Yeah. Aristotle.
According to the Nicomachean Ethics, the highest human good is this concept, which has been translated into English as happiness or human flourishing.
What? Do you know? What's a Greek word that sounds
Pathos.
It's the
useful?
Epicureans that.
Answer?
Ethos.
Eudaimonia, 10 points, toss-up 14. In the pathway for producing this compound, dopaquinone is synthesized by tyrosinase. The cells that produce this compound are mostly found in the stratum basale and transfer packets of this molecule to neighboring keratinocytes. Defects in the synthesis of this molecule lead to disorders like vitiligo and albinism. Yes?
Melanin.
10. Notice this hypothesized object is thought to reside at the center of the Laniakea supercluster. For 10 points each, identify this extremely massive structure whose name indicates its apparent ability to draw in galaxies close to it.
This came up. Didn't go to.
Answer?
Center of the Milky Way.
The Great Attractor, which was first detected due to divergences from this law describing the large-scale expansion of the universe.
Hubble's law.
Yes, studying the Great Attractor is made difficult by its location in this zone where viewing is hampered by material in the plane of the Milky Way.
It's like the blind zone of
Answer?
blind zone.
The zone of avoidance, 10 points, toss-up 15. Thousands of ethnic Germans settled along this river in towns like Saratov during the late 17th. Yes,
Volga.
15, bonus. The Allied Operations Manna and Schauhound tried to alleviate a famine in this country called the Hunger Winter. For 10 points each, name this European country. Despite declaring...
Netherlands?
Yes, the Netherlands surrendered one day after the German bombing of this coastal city, which today is Europe's busiest...
Rotterdam?
Germany invaded the Netherlands to better protect the vital industrial cities of this German river valley, which is near Germany's western border.
Do they want Roar Rhyme?
Just say Roar.
Roar.
That's 30. Toss up 16. This poet wrote that saxifrage is my flower that splits the rocks in a sort of song, a work from his poetry collection, The Wedge. A sort of song also contains this poet's maxim, no ideas but in things, which is repeated in his epic poem depicting the Passaic River and the New Jersey town of... Yes.
Williams?
10.
Yes.
Yes. Adventure cruises sail through the ice-covered Lemaire Channel in this peninsula's northern section of Graham Land. For 10 points each, what internationally managed peninsula is still the subject of overlapping territorial claims between Argentina and Chile?
This is the Antarctic Peninsula, right?
Yeah.
Antarctic Peninsula?
West of the Antarctic Peninsula is this sea named for the Norwegian who was the first explorer to reach the South Pole.
Amundsen. Yeah.
This chain of islands off the tip of the Antarctic Peninsula is named the South version of a Scottish archipelago noted for its miniature ponies.
Shetlands. South Shetlands.
That's 30. Toss up 17. A commander in this engagement relayed the message the Empire's fate depends on the result of this battle by hosting a lone Z flag. Before, yes,
Trafalgar?
Nick 5. Before this battle, the message, weather today fine but high waves, was sent via telegram by Togo Heihachiaro, who then decimated the 2nd Pacific Squadron, which had traveled over 11,000 miles under Admiral Rozhetsvensky. For 10 points, named this 1905 naval battle of the Russo-Japanese War.
Tsushima.
10. Bonus. Pencil and paper ready for 10 points each. Answer these questions about parallelograms. What is the area of a parallelogram whose base is 10 and whose height is 8?
80.
80.
Yes, per the parallelogram law, if the longer sides of a parallelogram have a length of 10, while the shorter sides have a length of 5, what is the sum of the squares of the parallelogram's diagonals? You have 10 seconds.
What is that? I
Probably
don't know
maybe
what this law
multiplying
is.
them both and dividing by 2.
Let's try that. Sure.
So 2,500, 1250?
250.
Oh.
The parallelogram law is applied when performing what arithmetic operation on two vectors in normal space?
Maybe.
Adding. It's adding.
Okay.
Adding.
20 points, toss up 18. In this country city of Qadian, the White Minaret was built by the Ahmadiyya movement. Riots broke out in this country following the 1992 demolition of the Babri Mosque and the 2002 burning of a pilgrim train in Godhra. A canal called the Stream of Paradise connects buildings in an imperial residence in this country, built by the son of Jahangir. Yes.
India?
10. Bonus.
Yeah.
In the first episode of the series, the protagonist asks his students to catfish his academic rival. For 10 points each, in this TV series about a disgraced philosopher from Harvard who is forced to teach at an Ohio high school.
Community.
AP Bio. Glenn Howerton, the star of AP Bio, plays the vain Dennis Reynolds on a show set in this city where it is said to be always sunny.
Philadelphia.
AP Bio also stars this comedian who voiced Remy in the film Ratatouille. Yeah, that's 20. Toss up 19. In the Guilford Ginring, the yeasty venom from L. Vigar becomes this substance. A group sometimes named for this substance includes Satung and Thaji. Salty blocks of this substance enclose the god Buri until he is licked free by the primeval cow Adumla. Emir is created when this substance from Niflheim, yes,
Ice?
10. Bonus?
Yeah. Nice.
One novel by this American author describes a profitably habit-forming soft drink called Okie Dokie. For 10 points each, name this an author of the 1943 novel Gideon Planish, whose title character interacts with the minister Elmer Gantry.
Oh, Lewis.
Go.
Lewis.
Lewis's novel Elmer Gantry is partially set in this fictional city of 400,000. The first sentence of Lewis's novel Babbitt describes the city's towers.
Go.
Zenith.
Yes, Lewis wrote about the much smaller city of Gopher Prairie in this novel, which depicts Carol Kennicott's growing dissatisfaction with rural life. Yes, that's 30, toss up 20. This film's heroine names drops attorney J. Noble Daggett and taunts a Texan by saying all Texans cultivate their hair like lettuce. Glenn Campbell portrayed Texas Ranger LaBeef, who is among those tracking Ned Pepper and Tom Chaney in this movie, in which Matty Ross hires an old U.S. Marshal. John Wayne's only Oscar came for playing Rooster Cogburn in, for 10 points, What Western remade in 2010 by the Coen brothers.
Oh, brother, where art thou?
Nope. Yes?
Magnificent Seven?
True Grit, toss up 21. A January 2019 letter to Keith Hall about this type of system noted the lack of a clear blueprint. A May 2019 CBO analysis of this policy used Taiwan as one of 6 selected countries compared and was commissioned by John Yarmouth, the chairman of the House Budget Committee. Britain's NHS and yes.
So like private, public healthcare?
Don't say anything. Prompt.
Single payer healthcare?
10, bonus.
Nice.
The geology of the tablelands in this province helped prove the theory of plate tectonics. For 10 points each, name this Canadian province home to Gross Mourne and Torngat National Parks.
Saskatchewan?
Discuss.
Answer?
Saskatchewan?
Newfoundland. This capital of Newfoundland shares its hagiologically inspired name with the capital of Antigua and Barbuda.
Victoria?
I'm sorry?
Victoria?
St. John's. Newfoundland also contains the site of Lonsau Meadows, an ancient settlement of these people who founded Vinland.
Vikings?
Yes, that's 10. Toss up 22. This man had a voice whose sound was like the sea, according to a poem that opens by telling him, "Thou shouldst be living at this hour." This man is the addressee of William Wordsworth's sonnet, London 1802. Thomas Gray's elegy imagines a mute and glorious version of this poet who attacked censorship in his essay Areopagitica. Yes, Milton. 10. Bonus. Pencil and paper ready. These systems name a constant that is denoted R, which is approximately equal to 8.3 joules per mole Kelvin. For 10 points each, name these theoretical systems that have 0 molecular volume and no interactions between molecules.
Yeah.
Yes. To 3 significant figures, what is the volume in liters of 1 mole of an ideal gas at standard temperature and pressure?
22.4.
22.4.
Suppose the heat capacity at constant volume of a particular ideal gas equals 2R. What is the gas's heat capacity at constant pressure?
What?
Answer?
3 halves.
No, 3R. So 20 points, toss up 23. This compound that makes up this amino acid side chain diffuses to another side of this compound synthase via substrate channeling. This compound is hydroxylated to form serotonin. This amino acid co-activates its own repressor in an oft-studied, yes?
Tyrosine?
NAQT5, and an oft-studied operon. Because of its indole side chain, this amino acid with symbol W is aromatic. For 10 points, name this amino acid often linked with drowsiness after, yes?
Tryptophan?
10. Bonus. This incident was popularized by a 1931 book by Stuart Lake. For 10 points each, name this 1881 event in which Billy Clanton was killed while 2 brothers and a tubercular dentist were wounded.
Like a OK Corral shootout.
Yeah, I can take that. The gunfight at the OK Corral involved 3 brothers from this family, including Wyatt, who was unharmed.
Why?
Answer?
Booth?
Earp. The gunfight took place in an Arizona county named for this warrior who joined his father-in-law, Mangus Coloradus, in fighting the U.S. Army.
Tombstone?
I'm sorry?
Tombstone?
No, it's Cochise. Cochise. So that's 10 points, and toss up the last. After the 2016 exit of James Bilbray, all 9 appointed seats on this entity's Board of Governors sat vacant. Its past leaders include Civil War-era cabinet member Montgomery Blair, and yes?
Oh, the Maryland government?
No.
No.
Neg
I
5.
don't know. I'm sorry.
All 9 appointed seats on this entity's Board of Governors sat vacant. Its past leaders include Civil War-era cabinet member Montgomery Blair. An old headquarters of this entity is now Washington, D.C.'s Trump International Hotel. A Herodotus quote about men hindered by neither snow, nor rain, nor heat, nor gloom of night provides the motto of, for 10 points, what federal courier? Yes?
United States Postal Service?
For 10. Bonus. For 10 points each, answer the following about one-way trips in the solar system. In 2003, this former cosmonaut stated she would be interested in going to Mars, even on a one-way trip.
The Russian woman.
Answer?
Yeah, we'll keep it.
Valentina Tereshkova. In 2018, this founder and CEO of SpaceX stated there's a good chance the first humans to travel to Mars would die there.
Musk.
Yes. This discoverer of deuterium volunteered for a one-way trip to the moon. He and his student Stanley Millard showed that various organic compounds can assemble under early Earth conditions.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 20. That's the game. We'll get a final score.
Sorry, guys.
Good game.
Good game, guys.
Final score is 430 Hunter, 230 Early College. Congratulations, both teams.
I mean, they would have beat me to it.
I got something different, but
I mean, I played the way I thought I was gonna. Could have done better. But.
480, 230, or 430, 280, something like that.
I got
That was my bad. Pretty hard. I mean, I knew the answer was like a line after a neg, which is too late.
You gotta take a line.
I mean, that's like a 3,000 swing. So.
Yeah. If I actually converted history.
I mean, they got like 2 signs.
Yeah. They got the Milton one.
so many tosses in that game. I should have gone.
Very good game. Best of luck in the next match. Congratulations. Congratulations. Hunter,
Daniel,
you will continue with the 9 card. Best of luck in your next match. Congratulations.
Losing, I guess. I don't know.
Hey guys, Jeremy back here with you with a playoff post-game interview with Hunter out of New York. Congratulations, guys. Why don't you introduce yourselves?
I'm Pedro. I'm Daniel.
Ben?
I'm Cerulean.
All right. So, what do you guys think makes a good team? What do you guys think the best quality is to have a good team?
I think the biggest thing is just keeping calm and always being able to play, like continuing, just not getting stuck on any particular thing.
Trusting your teammates.
Yeah.
If you
Always
neg,
trust your teammates.
and also if you neg, like you have to be able to put that behind you and just focus on the next toss-up. Don't let it tilt you.
All right. Oh, you got something?
No, I just agree with what they've been saying. Teamwork.
Okay. Teamwork makes the dream work, right? So, how do you guys study typically? Because you, Hunter is typically a very strong school when it comes to HSNCT. Not that you want to give away any of your secrets, but like how often do you guys study? How much work do you put into becoming a very good team?
Practice twice a week.
For 2 hours each day. But I think outside of that, like, you know, I think a big part of the way I've improved, I know, is just being in practice and you're with all these great players. When I was younger, I was with, like, Chloe, for example, and she was a great player. So, like, I guess you learn just from being around them.
So you got a lot of influence from the players that have come before you.
Yes.
So do you guys keep in contact with some of the former HSNCT champs?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We do.
I'm good friends with most of the older people. We've been talking a lot. Luke, Chloe, Sam, Gilad from the previous teams, especially from 2017.
Yes.
We're very good friends with them, and we stay in contact.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, and anything you want to say back to your friends and family in New York?
Thanks so much for watching this. Thanks for supporting us.
Yeah.
Yep.
And hopefully when we come back, we'll come back with a trophy.
Yep.
Hopefully the one that's like 6 feet tall. Wait till you see it. It's pretty awesome. All right, thank you guys so much. Now, if you'd like more content, just follow us at NAQT on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. I should have this down by now, shouldn't I? Also, if you want to tag your content, tag it with hashtag HSNCT. We'd love to see what you have and tweet it right back out. So, until the end of our round 24 game, we'll see you then. Bye.